Welcome to the Sewing Whisperer. This is a beginner's guide to creating graphic styles for fashion text sketches. If you would like to follow along, the Active Wear Pants file is available for free download in the details below. Let's now look at graphic styles. So graphic styles just make your work practice flow a little bit more easily because you've already got some preset assets you can just click on rather than having to go around and click a few buttons to set them. So the graphic styles we're going to create today are a dashed line, grey fill and a drawstring. So let's open up the file we've been working on in previous sessions, which is our lengthened shorts. We'll just go to the corner down the bottom here and we'll start and work with our graphic styles. So if you probably won't have your graphic styles open, we need to go Window, G for graphic styles. Now with that open, we're going to create our first one, which is a dashed line. So with the default setting of white fill and black stroke, we're going to empty out the fill, bring the stroke box to the front, set this to the settings that we have worked with previously, so 0.75. We'll have rounded caps and corners and we'll make it a dashed line. Let's draw the line first. We'll make it quicker and easier. So we'll click, hold shift and click, and then we'll dash the line, set the dash and gap to 3, and we'll also set this to align dashes to corners, which really helps when you're drawing pockets because the dashes in the corners will actually be little right angles. Okay, with that line now selected with our black selection tool, in the graphic style we'll click plus. Now yours will probably be looking like this because that's the default setting. And we can double click on there and call this dashed line. Okay, and then I do like to set that back to large list view. It's just easier to see what you're working on. The next thing we're going to do is draw a rectangle and set it to our grey setting that we've used for these shorts. So to do that, we'll take the dashed off, set our stroke weight to 1, bring the fill to the front, fill it with the light grey we've used previously, set the caps and corners to rounded, and that's the setting we're after. So we'll select it and then create a new graphic style and we'll call this one grey fill. Next we'll create the artwork for our drawstring. So to do that we need to empty out our fill, bring the stroke box to the front and set it to 3. We'll draw a line, set the stroke to rounded corners and rounded caps, and now we have to open up our, I'll just select that again with the black selection tool, we have to open up our appearance panel. So Window, Appearance. Appearance lets us design our own stroke. We can create a new stroke. So to do that, we're going to click on this new stroke. And by doing that, we've actually duplicated that line as well. And we're going to change the stroke weight and color. So we'll change the color first to white and we'll change the stroke weight to 2. So we now have a white stroke sitting on top of a black stroke. Now you can't just draw that and then try and add it to the graphic style. It has to be done in the appearance panel so that you're actually creating a new stroke. So now with all of that selected, so I'll just select everything, I'll click plus in our graphic style and I'll call this drawstring. So what we've done in effect is create a new stroke, and we can now test that. So if we draw a shape that is like a cord coming out of an eyelet or a buttonhole on a pair of shorts, and then click on our drawstring, that has now filled it with our new graphic style. So now let's also, while we're here, have a go at drawing a tie that could be coming out of a pair of shorts. So I'm going to click drag, come back up, hold option, click drag. Let's just set this to black stroke so we can see what we're doing, and no fill, and then I'll get the pen tool and Click drag up here and we're going to create the tie that's coming out. And we'll mirror that, so reflect that. We'll get the reflect tool, click in the center, come down below there, hold Option and Shift and click. Now we can drag over both of those and select our drawstring. Next, I'd like one of those ties to be at the back, so I'll select it and I'll say Object, Arrange, Center Back. And then we'll draw some little ties. So the first one will be the knot at the top. So if you click and click, once again, let's just set that to black so we can see what we're doing. I'll get the anchor point tool and I'm just going to push that up a little bit. And then I'll click on my drawstring and let's duplicate that, select it. Click Option and drag below, and then I'm going to rotate that around. So this, honestly, every time you draw one it comes out a little bit differently. I think I'd like that squashed together a bit. I'm going to select both and just squash it in. And I think I'll select it and rotate the whole thing, so the little ones at the top, I'll group it, so I'm going to say Command G just so they don't separate themselves, and sit that on top. And then down the bottom we'll draw a little knot. So pen tool, we'll just click just inside, let's zoom up, just inside, click, click, get our, let's set this to black so we can see what we're doing. And get our anchor point tool and we'll just pull that down slightly. Click on our drawstring and then we'll copy that to the other side. So I'll select it, hold Option or Alt, drag a copy to the other side and then rotate it. Okay, so that's the finish of our tie, and we can select the whole thing and group it, Command or Control G. Okay, so there are our graphic styles. That's the start of graphic styles. We can add to that as we progress, but for the moment we've created a dashed line, a grey fill and a drawstring. Thanks so much for watching. Please hit the subscribe button and give this a thumbs up if you'd like to see more videos.